plants, vegan made easy.
I feel good. And you love it now.
Feel good. So good.
We missed it. Apparently, if you look at each other's elbows,
Oh, is that right? There
yeah,
you
you
go.
can't miss.
There you go. We didn't miss. Learn something every day, the elbows. So we've been up here, guys. I've been up here on the Gold Coast with Anya for a couple of days after Byron Bay because we just thought it would be really cool to hang out again and make some more recipes together. But while I've been here, I got really interested in why Anya became plant-based and changed her diet, and especially after she showed me a before photo. Like, seriously, the weight that she's lost and the transformation she has had has been absolutely incredible. So I wanted to find out and record her story to be able to share with you. So Anya,
Yes.
tell me all about it. Why did you go plant-based? Tell me your story, tell me your history, because it's been incredible, the transformation.
Yep. Well, it started about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually coming up to almost 3 years. 3 years in September that I went plant-based. And prior to that, it just seems like a lifetime ago now, but seeing those photos last night really brought back all those memories of just how overweight I was and how unwell I was. And so at that time, basically I was about 24 kilos heavier than I am now, so over 50 pounds heavier.
Wow.
And yeah, just had
That's incredible.
no energy, just felt drained all the time, and just after every meal I just felt like going to sleep really and not doing anything. So I just thought that was part of getting older, and that's just how life was, and that's how I was always going to be. And I started getting bigger and bigger, and I just felt really awful. And then one day I was walking past a health food store, and they had some information about alkaline water and your body having to be in an alkaline state to be healthy. So similar to a pool, if you imagine you have to keep your water clean and alkaline, not acidic, to keep it all healthy and clean, the same thing's happening in your body. So they had a pamphlet there about alkaline foods as well, and a little test strip so you can test your saliva to see if you're acidic or alkaline. And I did the little test, and I was very, very acidic, and found out that being acidic is related to lots of illnesses, and basically, if your body is acidic, things like cancer are going to happen in your body, and you're just not in a good state.
So that was the first little thing that you came across that maybe nutrition could, and the way I eat, I could start changing that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that
was
made
your
me aware of
introduction
it.
into food.
Yeah.
Into healthy food.
Definitely. So from there I started researching the alkaline diet and started incorporating more greens into my diet, and started to feel better. And one day I ended up at the doctor's office just for a general checkup, and he heard a heart murmur that hadn't been picked up before, and he said, "Oh, I do want to have that checked out." And went and had an ultrasound on my heart and found that I had a bulging aorta. And basically, if that kept bulging, one day it could just explode and it would be goodbye well.
Wow.
So that was a bit of a wake-up call to then seriously look into diet and the best nutrition that I could possibly give myself to make myself healthy again. And I thought there must be something that can repair these heart issues. I've gotten all this way through bad diet, so surely there's something out there I can do to reverse this and get better before I end up in surgery or in a grave. So so from there, like I said, I started getting more into an alkaline-based diet, cut out meats out of my diet, and ended up pretty much just having a lot of fruit and veg and a little bit of salmon. And the more I researched, I ended up coming across a movie called Forks Over Knives.
Really?
Yes.
That's a good movie. So, big change after that, huh?
Yes, I watched that, and it just really opened up my eyes to what was going on and how bad things like dairy and meat and animal products are for our bodies. So I knew I was on the right track, but I just had to go that extra step further. And then after that, I also read a book called The China Study, and that just sealed the deal for me. I just looked at all the science and all the research that was in there, and it was just years and years of research and all different scientific things that had come together in that book, and it just clicked for me that I had to go on a plant-based diet, and that was going to be my turning point. So,
and that's when you started.
Yeah.
So tell us, how long ago was that?
So that was September 2012.
Yeah.
So coming up to 3 years this year.
Eating this way.
Yeah.
And so how do you eat? What do you eat on a daily basis?
Pretty much fresh fruits and vegetables as much as I can, and every now and then I might have toast for breakfast with avocado or mushrooms. I don't restrict myself. I try to minimise the amount of processed foods that I have.
Yeah.
And I don't cook with any oils. I don't add any extra oils.
No very refined oils. Yeah.
No refined oils. I'll have avocado or nuts and seeds, all the natural whole foods, but no added extra, no olive oil, no coconut oil. Cut out all those things. So, and I pretty much, after about as little as about 3 months, I started seeing results. The weight was just constantly dropping off. I was losing a good 1 to 2 kilos a week. So it wasn't a rapid weight loss, but it was just really steady. And within 6 months, I was down to down 24 kilos. So
wow,
back to the weight that I was as a teenager. So yeah.
And how did that make you feel that moment?
That was awesome. Very, very awesome.
Doesn't it feel so good once that weight drops off you? Which, I've been big as well.
Yeah.
And it's like this weight off your shoulder. I don't know, how did you feel?
Just fantastic, and so much energy. I actually wanted to go outside and go and do things, and I could fit into things, and had to throw out a whole wardrobe of clothes because I couldn't fit into them anymore because they were all too big.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome to just donate and get rid of that. So.
And what happened to your health? What happened to the heart?
Well, all my cholesterol went back to normal, and everything just went perfect. So all my blood results are excellent, and health is fantastic, and heart, it's all reversed itself, no issues, and
so would you ever go?
Great.
You're feeling great. So would you ever go back eating the other way, meat again?
No.
No.
Yeah, which is
Why?
quite bizarre because being of a German background, all we ever did was eat meat and cheese and bread and so pretty much everything you shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
And basically there were heart issues on both sides of my family. So my grandmother died quite early from heart disease, and then also my grandfather on the other side had 4 bypass operations.
Wow.
And so it was very, very much ingrained in both sides of my family.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to go down that path, and I don't miss it. Your taste buds change, and all the fresh foods that you have every day, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, and she's a great cook.
Food's
good.
So it's just amazing what flavors there are. You just don't realize it, and just a piece of meat, it doesn't taste like anything. It's the flavorings and the condiments that make it taste good.
Yeah. So
why not put those flavorings and condiments on other things? So
totally.
Yeah, it's great.
So if someone out there watching this now was, where you or I were, a few years back, and they wanted to make that transition and become healthy and, lose the weight, what would be the first thing you'd advise them to do?
I think just get yourself a nice base of recipes that you can just go to, because if you're busy and you've got life happening, it's really easy just to go, I'll just grab whatever I'm used to grabbing. And it's a whole re-education of how you've been brought up and what you're used to eating. And in this Western society, it's so everything's processed and instant, and go and grab this, and it's in a package. But just re-educate yourself and write down what your core favourite meals are, because most people only have 3 or 4 favourite meals that they tend to rotate anyway.
It's true.
So if it's lasagna, go and find yourself a vegan lasagna recipe. It's amazing how flavoursome they are. And if you don't like the first one, try another one.
Yeah.
Because there will be one out there that will blow your mind. So.
That's right. And we don't recommend using the processed vegan cheeses.
No.
You can do it.
Make your own. Yeah. And you don't even need cheese really either. So there's so many options out there, and I mean initially, okay, if it's going to be easier for you to go and get the processed meats and the processed cheeses for a transition, use it for a little while, but try to really minimise it, and if you can find recipes, just make your own, and even on a weekend or whenever you have some time, set a few hours aside, pre-cook some veggies and bake some veggies and cut some things up, and even I chop up potatoes and just put them in some water and keep them in the fridge for a few days, and when I'm ready to cook them, I just have them on hand. I don't have to worry about chopping them, just pre-do it all in.
I love how practical she is. She's so practical. It's so good. So let's go back to when you made the transition to a whole food plant-based diet after reading China study. Think back to a breakfast. What would you have for breakfast back then?
I'm very much a savoury girl, so unlike my husband who just has oats, and more oats.
And by the way, that's all you really need. You can get by really well on oats.
You can get by. You can absolutely get by. They're really, really healthy, but I don't know. I just have a very savoury.
So what do you have?
So I have a lot of. I'll do some mushrooms, I'll have avocado on toast or baked beans and those sort of things, and don't get me wrong, every now and then I will have oats, or I'll have a fruit smoothie, or just whatever I feel like on the day. So
fantastic.
I don't restrict myself, or quite often I'll even have leftovers from the night before. And just
on toast.
On toast.
Bubble and squeak.
It doesn't have to be on toast, but I'll quite often I'll just have some, if I've got a stir fry from the night before, or I'll just have that. So
great. And then back then for lunch, what would you eat then?
Quite often just a salad and maybe some falafels or some different wraps, or it might have been a stir fry or a soup. Quite often a soup. It's quite easy just to cook a big pot of soup and then have that for pretty much the whole week. So so that's a really easy thing to use. So
And then dinner, like obviously stir fry or lasagna. Or what did you have back then?
Oh gosh, trying to think back. There's so many different things. Again, just a stir fry or a soup or a curry. Really love curries and all the Asian flavours, and so we had a lot of those. And
what about the sweet thing? Did you get like sweet cravings and things when you transitioned, or?
I've never really been a big sweet tooth, but I found that even I used to make a lot of raw desserts quite nut heavy when I first transitioned to a vegan diet, because it's quite easy to make desserts out of nuts and dates, and so I probably ate more of that sort of food than I do now. And it's just an education too, to see different ingredients. You become aware of things like quinoa and buckwheat and millet and all these fabulous grains and ingredients that you can use, that you just, I don't know, you're just blind to it when you eat a traditional fast food sort of diet. So
and there is a big world. There's so many vegetables, there's so many grains, there's so many legumes, and then there's so many herbs and spices. And once you get a handle of that, by practicing and just taking some recipes and cooking with them, and a whole world opens up, and tastes that I found that and even if you get on the internet and just research a few of your favourite recipes and search for vegan versions, and just bookmark them or print them out and keep them on hand, and just get used to just using those, or think of what your favourite foods are, and just think, okay, well, how can I substitute that animal product for something that's non-animal based. So what would be an example of that? Like if say you saw a recipe book that had a bit of steak, what would you replace the steak with? So if you like mushrooms, really even the big portobello mushrooms are very meaty, so they have that nice texture and bite to them. So if you like mushrooms, cook up the portobellos or even stuff them with something, and it'll be a really, really nice substitute. And make a nice sauce to go with it, or you've got tofu. There's just so many different options of what you can use. So and jackfruit. Anya was telling me about jackfruit. I haven't cooked with jackfruit yet, but I'll let Anya tell you about jackfruit and how meaty it can go. Very meaty. So jackfruit is actually, when you cook it, it almost goes to a texture of like a pulled pork sort of consistency. And an Indonesian friend of mine came over one time. She was cooking a curry, and all of a sudden she put in this jackfruit, and they use it a lot to substitute chicken. So just make sure you get the green
jackfruit, the baby jackfruit, in a tin from an Asian grocery store. So just in brine, not sweetened, and yeah, you can cook that down, and it ends up tasting just like meat. It's quite
So you
incredible.
cook it like in a casserole type style?
Yeah, casserole, and just give it a nice sauce and put it in there and let it cook, and
And you drain the brine from the can?
Yeah, drain the brine. And
very good.
Yeah, so
Oh.
lots of options out there. And of course, come and check out my website at CookingWithPlants.com for all the best simple recipes.
Exactly. That's
Nudge,
where you can
nudge,
find
nudge.
Anya. And you can. She posts every week. It's incredible. I don't know how she does it all the time, but How often do you post recipes? Like?
Pretty much 3 times a week. So I try to get them up on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday.
Yeah.
So I'll put new recipes up, and I also take requests. So if there's anything in particular that someone's wanting to have a vegan version of, or struggling with, not being able to have that dish, then just send me an email or leave a message, and I'll see what I can do.
Absolutely. So you can find Anya at CookingWithPlants.com. It's very simple, CookingWithPlants.com. Check her out. She's great.
Thanks, Adam.
No worries. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.